A 60-year-old woman's life. 60 years of unspoken battles. She is 60. Yet her silence is older than time. It carries battles. Never written. Never praised. Never allowed to rest. Her life did not unfold gently. It demanded endurance. Before it offered understanding. Every year asked something from her. And most years took more than they gave. She learned to fight. Without raising her voice. To survive. Without witnesses. To keep going. When stopping felt deserved. Her eyes have memorized pain. The way others memorize joy. They do not beg for sympathy. They simply reflect what they have endured. She wore responsibility. Before she wore confidence. She carried others. Before learning how heavy she herself was. Love came to her. As duty first. Hope later. She gave it fully. Even when it arrived. With conditions. She never agreed to. Her youth was not careless. It was consumed. By expectations. By sacrifice. By being needed. More than being understood. She learned early that some battles are fought in kitchens, in quiet rooms, in long nights, where tears must remain invisible. She smiled when required. She endured when expected. She stayed because leaving was never an option. She was allowed to consider. At 60, she does not recount her struggles, not because they were small, but because they were sacred. They shaped her spine, her patience, her restraint. Her heart has scars no one can see. Each one earned honestly. Each one survived quietly. She is not fragile. She is layered, built from years that demanded resilience before offering mercy. And if you listen carefully, her silence will tell you, this woman did not merely live 60 years. She survived 60 years of unspoken battles. Battles no one applauded. She fought wars that never made noise. No crowds, no medals, no one calling her brave. Only her heartbeat, pushing her forward. Her days were shaped by responsibility, not choice. She learned to adjust dreams to fit survival. There were mornings she woke up already tired, yet still moved, because others depended on her strength. She carried everyone else's needs, while hiding her own. Her pain learned manners. It waited patiently, until she was alone. Before asking to be felt, she mastered endurance. Without being taught how to rest, she learned patience. Without being shown how to receive gentleness. At 60, she no longer explains why she stayed silent. Silence was the only weapon that didn't cost her more. She watched love become obligation, then become habit, then become memory. Still, she honored it. Her loyalty outlived the people it was meant for. She stood firm, while others walked away. With lighter hearts, she learned to survive disappointment without becoming resentful, a skill that aged her faster than time ever could. Her strength was never dramatic. It was consistent, reliable, invisible to those who benefited from it most. She has lived through moments that demanded surrender, yet she chose persistence. Again and again, her silence is full of courage. Her restraint is intentional. Her calm is earned. At 60, she understands this truth. Some battles are won simply by not giving up. And she never did. The years that hardened quietly. Time did not warn her. Before it asked for strength, it simply arrived, expecting endurance, as if it were natural to her. She learned to make peace with unfinished conversations, with words she swallowed, to keep harmony alive. Her sacrifices blended into routine. They stopped feeling heroic and started feeling expected. Still she gave, without keeping score. There were moments she felt erased by obligation, reduced to what she could provide. Yet she never allowed bitterness to take root in her chest. Her patience was not infinite, just disciplined. She rationed her emotions so she could last. At 60, she understands that survival reshapes you. It trims excess hope, sharpens awareness, and teaches the value of restraint. She watched years pass. Without celebration, without pause, life moved quickly around her. While she held everything together, her silence became fluent. It spoke in glances, in pauses, in the calm refusal to explain herself anymore. She learned that not everyone deserves access to her truth. Some people only listen to use it against you. Her heart has known loneliness. Even in crowded rooms, she learned to keep herself company. When no one noticed, she was disappearing. At 60, she does not resent time. She respects it. It taught her exactly what matters enough to keep. Her battles remain unspoken, but they live in her posture, in the way she stands firm, without needing approval. She has lived long enough to know this. Quiet resilience outlasts loud resistance. And she continues, steady, aware, unbreakable, in ways that cannot be measured. The cost of carrying everyone else. She carried others, the way rivers carry cities, silently, constantly, without being thanked for not flooding. Her shoulders learned balance before they learned rest. Every burden found its way to her, as if strength was an invitation to be used. She gave answers when no one asked how she was holding on. She solved problems while her own waited patiently to be acknowledged. At 60, she remembers the weight of being needed more than being loved. A weight that never left marks, but never truly left either. Her voice softened, so arguments could end quicker. Her needs shrank, so peace could grow larger. She learned compromise before she learned choice. There were nights she laid awake, counting breaths instead of dreams, not because she feared dying, but because she feared not being strong enough tomorrow. She learned that exhaustion does not always look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like continuing with perfect composure. Her tears became economical. She saved them for moments when even silence failed her. At 60, she knows the price of being dependable. People remember you when they need something and forget you when you need rest. Still, she does not regret giving. She regrets only the time she forgot to give herself permission to be human. Her heart learned restraint, not withdrawal. It still opens, just not to those who mistake generosity for obligation. Her battles were never dramatic. They were repetitive, daily, unending, and she won them by showing up again. At 60, she stands quietly victorious, not because life was fair, but because she refused to stop carrying on when stopping felt justified. When silence became her shelter. Over the years, silence stopped being punishment and became protection. It wrapped around her when words only invited more pain. She learned that explaining herself never softened hearts. So she saved her breath for prayers, for patience, for surviving another day. Her emotions grew disciplined, not because she felt less, but because feeling everything was too expensive. At 60, She chooses carefully what deserves her reaction. Not every wound needs to bleed openly. She remembers being misunderstood so often that she stopped correcting people. Truth does not chase validation. Her calm unsettled those who expected her to break. They mistook her quiet for weakness, never realizing how much noise it took to earn that peace. She has cried alone more times than she can count. Yet she never allowed despair to make a home in her chest. Her hope matured. It stopped demanding miracles and started trusting endurance. At 60, she understands that solitude is not abandonment. Sometimes it is sanctuary. She learned to sit with herself without fear, to listen to her own thoughts without running from them. Her silence carries wisdom now. It knows when to speak and when to let life answer on its own. She does not need to be loud to be strong. Her presence alone tells the story. Her battles remain unspoken, but they echo in the steadiness of her steps, in the restraint of her heart. And still, she moves forward, quietly guarded, deeply aware, unmistakably resilient. Lessons carved in time. At 60, every line on her face tells a story no one else knows. They are not just wrinkles. They are memories, etched by endurance, proof of battles survived. Without applause, she learned that people leave without warning, and some never return. So she holds herself first, protects her heart, and waits for no validation. Her love was never careless. It was deliberate, measured by sacrifice, tested by hardship, and refined by patience. She forgives without explanation, because bitterness only poisons the giver. Her mercy is quiet, but absolute. She has walked through years that demanded everything, yet gave nothing back. She learned how to survive anyway. Her strength is not loud. It does not require recognition. It is steady, invisible, like roots of an ancient tree, holding the ground firm when storms rage above. At 60, she knows that resilience is earned, not taught, and it is earned through pain, through solitude, through the refusal to give up, even when the world has. Her heart has held sorrow, hope, and love all at once. She knows now that all three can coexist without destroying her. Her patience is a shield, her quiet a sword. She moves carefully, yet she moves. She understands that life's weight will never be fair, but fairness is not required to survive gracefully. At 60, she is complete, without apology, without audience, without explanation. Her soul carries centuries of wisdom, and it walks forward with dignity, with resolve, with peace. The strength nobody saw coming. She stands at 60, and the world has rarely noticed the battle she quietly won. Her resilience is invisible, yet undeniable. She survived storms that would have drowned others, and still walks with a gentle dignity. Her heart is tender, but not naive. It has learned how to protect itself without hardening. She loved fully, even when it cost her. She forgave often, even when no one apologized. Her wisdom is silent, her patience uncelebrated. Yet every step she takes echoes victories no one applauded. At 60, she measures life differently, not in material wealth, not in fleeting moments of joy, but in endurance, in courage, in quiet survival. She carries her past, not as a burden, but as proof that even the hardest journeys can be walked with grace. She understands that strength is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers, quietly, persistently, in the way she continues. When the world expected her to break, her presence alone teaches lessons no speech could convey. At 60, she is both gentle and unyielding, soft enough to feel, strong enough to endure. And still, she moves forward, not asking for recognition, but living fully, despite it all. Her final victory. At 60, she has carried centuries of silent battles, yet her spirit remains unbroken. She no longer waits for approval or understanding. Her strength does not seek applause. It lives in the quiet moments, in the calm persistence that refuse to surrender. Her heart still loves, even after betrayal. Her eyes still shine, even after sorrow. Her soul has learned that resilience is its own reward. She walks lightly, but every step is measured with the weight of wisdom, the weight of experience, the weight of surviving what most could not bear. At 60, she knows that life does not owe anyone explanation. It simply asks for endurance, and she delivers it daily. Her laughter is rare, but it is sincere. Her kindness is careful, but unyielding. Her spirit is tender, yet impossible to break. She has mastered the art of being strong without proving it, of surviving without witnessing, of loving without expectation. Her story will never be loud, but it will last. In every heart that listens, in every soul that understands, her journey is remembered. At 60, she does not ask for recognition. She asks only to continue, walking forward, with grace, with courage, with dignity intact. If her story inspired you, leave a comment and honor the strength of those who survive silently.